Tonight's the night. We made it, gentlemen. It is draft day. Finally here when dreams will be realized. Look at us in the nude and the tan. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, team.
I see the tan look and all of that other stuff. My only thing is, what in the hell is going on with that haircut for Dan Orlovsky? I mean, what? We'll talk later. Lord have mercy. I mean, we'll talk about this another time.
Dan, don't fix your hair. It look good, man. Don't worry about your hair.
No, it doesn't.
Bro. It look good.
I know it looks good. Look how quickly that went from there to that, Stephen A. You talking about hair?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? That's right.
Gentlemen, we got a lot to dive into.
Like me, Stephen A.
Oh, by the way, Molly, last night,
You need to be looking
it's
like
not what you have, it's what you do with it.
They
Let's
just
go.
rolled the VO on
Let's
me,
go.
so I got to go.
Do it.
The hottest name in the NFL draft tonight is quarterback Shedeur Sanders, with a Colorado standout and son of one of the greatest NFL players of all time, going the first or second round. Now, our Field Yates has released his final mock draft heading into tonight's draft. Yates has the Browns trading back into the first round with the Commanders to draft quarterback Shedeur Sanders with the 29th overall pick. Interesting. Okay, Stephen A., what's your reaction to Sanders now being projected to fall to pick 29?
I'm appalled by it. I really don't like it at all, because I think that you can't tell me, guys. Listen, I'm going to look forward to watching y'all throughout the day talk about the NFL. You know how I feel about you guys. You know that I feel that no matter what I think I know, I learn more from you guys every single day because y'all all played in the NFL, and I'm proud to talk about the job that you do exceptionally covering the league the way that you do. I'm just an outsider that's covered sports for over 30 years. And I don't like the fact that I'm looking at a guy that has gone from speculation about being the number one overall pick between him and Cam Ward to being maybe the number 3 pick to the New York Giants, to being the number 6 pick of the Las Vegas Raiders, to being number 9 for the New Orleans Saints, to dropping down to 21 at the Pittsburgh Steelers, to going in the mock drafts where he's going to be 29th, whether it's Mel Kiper Jr. or somebody else saying it. Okay, not that he deserves it, but they're saying that's what's projected. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is this precipitous drop all about. That's my problem. And I understand, Dan, I've listened to you on countless occasions really break down, adroitly I might add, what his strengths are and his weaknesses. From a football perspective, I understand that. But we know how important the quarterback position is. We know this brother can play. We know about whether he doesn't have the greatest motor or the greatest arm. The accuracy is there. The poise is there. The pedigree is there. We see all of these things along with his skill set and what he's been able to do on a collegiate level. And here we are now wondering whether or not this guy's going to be a second-round pick. I find this very appalling and very alarming and very disturbing. That's where I come from.
Dan?
Well, Stephen A., the fact of the matter is, like, we can – I'm with you. I trust Dan in evaluating these quarterbacks more than anybody that I see on TV because I know the type of work that he puts in, and I've heard the things that he said about Shedeur. But we got to stop, and I'm not talking about us. We got to stop, like, maneuvering around this conversation. A part of it is because Shedeur is Deion Sanders' son.
Right.
That's one part of it. The other part of it is because Shedeur has this quote-unquote ego or self-confidence. I addressed that on First Take. Me and Dan talked about it all the time. Years ago, Dan and I had a conversation. I want my QB to have a little boo-boo in their neck. Y'all know what that means. I want them to be a little bit over self-confident. I want them to have that type of cachet. But there's this revolving conversation around Shedeur that I hear more about not what actually happened with him playing quarterback on the field and all of the things that people talk about. The meetings were like, what his attitude is like. Can he be a leader in the locker room? I never saw any of those issues when he was at Jackson State or the University of Colorado. People seemed to gravitate to him, the players. He worked out with those guys. You saw the interaction with those guys. He comes from one of the greatest athletes to ever play any sport. Matter of fact, 2 sports. In baseball and football, in his pops. He's going to have some traits. he's going to have some confidence. He's going to have things that he's seen emulated or done by his dad that he wants to bring to the professional level, because the model and example of success has been in his home every single day. He played for him as a high school player and as a college player. I just get frustrated. Look, if you don't think Shedeur Sanders is good enough to be the third or the sixth or the ninth pick, so be it. It happens to every player in the draft. We have guys days before the draft move down. We have guys shoot up the board. This is not an anomaly with guys dancing around. I just don't want Shedeur Sanders to pay for the fact that he's Deion Sanders' son and people are attributing his confidence and the things that he brings to a team and an organization to knock him down to being the 29th pick. Evaluate the film, talk to the people that played with him, and then make your assumptions about what he can do as a quarterback. Because I haven't seen anything, Dan, on tape that tells me in this particular draft. Now, we were talking about 4 quarterbacks that we all had first-round grades on, and they were going to go before Shedeur. That's different. I haven't seen enough in this draft for the position of value for him not to be taken in the first round.
Dan?
Okay, so a couple things here. First of all, I think Shedeur is going to go 21 to the Steelers tonight. Everything that you hear is that there's people in their building that are very important decision makers that really like Shedeur. So I do think he goes 21. Marcus, I got to push back onto because you just waxed for 60 seconds about how the pedigree and where he comes from and being Deion's son and all the positives come from that or that have been kind of shined on him, but then in the same breath say, I don't want him to be penalized for being Deion's son. We can't have it both ways. If we're going to laud praise on him for being Deion's son and the understanding and the pedigree that Stephen A. brought up and the characteristics and how he's been molded because of his father, and those are all things that have been benefits to him and that will probably be in the NFL, we can't sit there and say, well, it's held against him as well. Because while his dad was one of the greatest ever, Shedeur's not that right now physically. He's not this remarkable, rare, unbelievable unicorn athlete. And so here's my thing with the late first-round quarterbacks. Marcus, you heard me say this yesterday. Stephen A., remember a couple years ago where Green Bay traded up into the back end of the first round and selected Jordan Love? Right. They did that because Jordan Love has got uncoachable physical traits. Okay? A couple years ago, the Baltimore Ravens did it with Lamar Jackson. Uncoachable physical traits. And so the guys that have been, teams have gone back into the first round, they've traded for it and select them at quarterback that have worked out, they've had those uncoachable physical traits. Player like a Brandon Weeden or a Kenny Pickett, teams that did that, not to knock them, but they don't have that. And I think that's where teams are with Shedeur, is like good player, but what's uncoachable about his game?
But here's where the conversation gets real